Hey folks, welcome back to the 74 Challenger restoration. Well, like you saw from the last episode, we are now up on our rotisserie. Alright, so we are going to tackle a couple of rust items underneath this vehicle that were just a little bit too difficult to get at when it was sitting on the ground. So first one we're going to tackle here is this rear suspension mount. So this is where the leaf spring would have mounted. You have this large bracket, and then right where it ties into the frame rail, we've got some rust spots sitting underneath there. Now this is a really awkward spot to get at. It would be nice to take this whole bracket out, but it's really mounted in there through a lot of different points. My plan is to come in here with my reciprocating saw with a blade, and I'm going to just cut this tab out and then try and grind out as much as I can underneath it, and then we'll put the two new pieces back in. That's my plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. The other item I need to tackle is the sill on the driver's side is all pitted. A couple spots there, one little spot here. Okay, we finished up that patch. That turned out pretty nice. So I've got the base section there that filled the hole, and then I just put this little strip that attaches to the suspension bracket here, just to kind of mimic what was there originally. So yeah, that turned out pretty nice. I'm happy with that. Alright, so we're going to keep moving on. Next up, we're going to tackle the sill section here. Finish up with that sill patch. Turned out pretty good. Welds are a little bit ugly, but pretty good. Burned through in a couple spots here, but this sill material is actually really thin, surprisingly thin. And then for this other spot, there's just a little pinhole. I was able to just fill that with weld, so I can come in there later and we'll grind that down and smooth it up. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this side. We are going to flip this thing around and take a look at the other side now. Okay, we're on the same spot on the other side. This one isn't nearly as bad. It really is just a little hole there. and you can feel up underneath it, and like I don't feel any corrosion under that spot. So I think what I'm going to do is just clean that spot up, and I'll just fill it in with some weld, and we'll call that one a day. Well, I patched the hole, and then I just wasn't really happy with it, so I laid 2 gigantic beads over the whole area. Just made sure this was good and welded. So anyway, that should do the trick. Next up, I'm gonna tackle this transmission hump. So this was originally an automatic vehicle, and I am converting it to a manual transmission. So in order to do that, you have to buy one of these transmission hump panels and cut out this section of floor pan. So a little tidbit of information: you can't actually buy a floor pan that already includes this hump. Even from factory, they cut them on the assembly line and welded this hump in. So I'm just going to mark this out. We'll cut the floor out and weld this guy in. We have a 4-speed tranny hump. I gotta say, it felt kind of odd cutting out that new floor pan section, but anyway, here we are. Went pretty good. Welds are half decent. It's always hard welding when I find you have the weld through primer underneath. I don't know, it's just not a nice clean surface. But anyway, it's in there. Alright, we're going to keep moving on. The collection of parts that need to be welded back into this thing is getting really small. So we have these suspension brackets for the bump stops that need to go back in. We have this bracket for the trunk area, that's for the latch. We have this goes up by the quarter window on top of the quarter panel. It's an inner bracket for support for like the window felts and all that kind of stuff. I need to remake this. This connects between the floor pan and the frame rail. We have these brackets that go in the rear trunk. That's to support the gas tank brackets. And then we have these 2 small little guys here for the front fender. So it's getting pretty small. We're down to the final little bits. I think I'm going to tackle this guy next here. Seems pretty simple. We'll throw that in the trunk. Alright, we managed to get a couple little items off the list. There's still a few more little things to take care of, but we're going to tackle that in the next episode or two. But we are getting really close to being able to getting this thing sandblasted. We got to start thinking about lining up all the gaps, putting pieces back on, making sure everything fits properly. But we are getting pretty close to having the bodywork on this thing done, and that's really exciting. Alright, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.